Okay, I want you to imagine your city saying goodbye to the sun. And I don't mean for just a day, I mean for over 2 months. It sounds like something out of a sci fi movie, right? But for one American town, it's a yearly reality. Let's dive into this incredible natural phenomenon.
64. You're going to want to remember that number. For 64 straight days, the sun will not rise. Not even once. So what is going on here? And how is that even possible?
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start in America's northernmost town as it gets ready for its long night. Then we'll get into the science of why it gets so dark. We'll see how people actually live through it. And this is the cool part, how it connects to the weather right in your backyard. And finally, we'll see what happens when the sun comes back in a big way. So our story starts way, way up in Utqiagvik, Alaska. It's the northernmost community in the entire United States. And every year, right around the middle of November, everyone there gathers to watch their last sunset for a very, very long time. Yep, you heard that right. For the rest of November, all of December, and a big chunk of January, no sun. It just stays completely below the horizon. The next time they'll see it is late January. Just think about that. So, what's the deal? Why does this happen? I mean, this isn't just some crazy long night. It's a totally predictable event, and there's a really clear scientific reason for it. Well, there's an official name for it, of course, polar night. It happens at both poles, the Arctic and the Antarctic, and the definition is pretty simple. It's any time the sun stays below the horizon for more than 24 hours straight.
And the reason why is actually pretty straightforward. It all comes down to something we learned in school. The Earth is tilted on its axis. You know, that's what gives us our seasons. So as our planet does its lap around the sun each year, that tilt means one pole is always angled away. For the Northern Hemisphere's winter, the North Pole is leaning so far back that for places above the Arctic Circle, like Utqiagvik, the sun just never gets high enough in the sky to be seen. It's playing peekaboo, but it never actually peaks.
So that's the science. But what about the people? This is what I find fascinating. How do the 4,400 or so residents of Utqiagvik actually handle living without the sun for 2 whole months? Okay, so first things first, let's bust a common myth. Polar night doesn't mean it's pitch black all day and all night. See, even though the sun's below the horizon, its light still bounces around in the atmosphere. And that creates a few hours of what's called civil twilight every day. It's this kind of faint, beautiful blue light, just enough to see what you're doing. Right, so the people in this community, which is ancient, by the way, with history going back to 500 CE, they rely on that twilight. And of course, they get the incredible northern lights for some natural light, but no direct sun means no daytime heat, and that means the temperatures absolutely plummet, which is a whole other challenge they have to face.
And here's where it gets really interesting for the rest of us. You might think, okay, a town in Alaska is dark. Why does that matter to me? Well, the polar night isn't just a local thing. It actually has a direct impact on weather for millions of people, maybe even you, thousands of kilometers away. You've definitely heard this term on the weather forecast, right? The polar vortex. All it really is this huge swirl of super cold air that hangs out way up in the stratosphere, right over the North Pole. Okay, so think of it like this. The endless cold and dark of the polar night makes the air over the Arctic super chilled. This makes the temperature difference between the pole and the warmer south even bigger. That contrast makes the polar vortex spin faster and stronger, kind of like building a stronger fence to keep all that cold air locked up. But if that vortex gets wobbly or weak, it can break down, and big chunks of that freezing Arctic air can spill south, bringing those deep freezes down to the US and other places.
But here's the kicker. This story of extreme darkness has an equally extreme opposite. Because that same tilt of the Earth that causes the polar night, it creates a completely different world in the summertime. So, we've talked about the 64 days of darkness, which is wild. But get this, in the summer, they get nearly 90 days of nonstop, 24/7 daylight. The sun literally never sets. It's a land of incredible extremes. And you know what? Life adapts in the most amazing ways. During those sunny summer months, Utqiagvik is actually home to America's northernmost football team. Can you imagine playing a game under a sun that just circles around in the sky and never goes down? It's a perfect symbol of how this community just rolls with its unique environment. When you get right down to it, the story of Utqiagvik's polar night is just this powerful reminder of how incredibly adaptable life is. It shows how something as simple as our planet's tilt can have such huge impact on the day-to-day lives of real people. It really makes you think, doesn't it? We all live by the rhythm of sunrise and sunset, but this story shows us just how deeply the giant cosmic rhythm of our planet shapes everything we do. It kind of leaves you with a question. How does it shape your life?